chat up and all right.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of League One on the Rocks. It's been a while since we've done a full review show, but here we are. We got a whole lot of information coming your way. But before we dive into all that information, my name is Rich. You can find me on Twitter at I'm Rich, but I'm not. And I'm joined, as always, by the man, the legend, Brian. You can find him on Twitter at Mediocre Ace. Brian, how you doing?
Well, I'm doing really good, Rich. It's been a it's been a week already, but the weather's nice, and unfortunately, Omaha does not play this weekend, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to find something else to do with my time in between watching some League One matches.
Yep. So, just before we jumped on air, this is news for everybody that's watching or listening right now, but our entire podcast catalog is completely up to date. All of our episodes, all of our streams are all on the or the podcast platform. So wherever you are listening to us, you can find all the rest of our episodes in there.
Ooh.
Um, I hate to admit this, but I was listening to some of them earlier today as I was getting prepped for today. And man, there were some weeks there where I was sounding very tired.
Well, I mean, it makes sense though, right? Because like you do a ton of stuff, not just for our show, but for Open Cup and your own writing for Who Gives a Hoot and everything like that. So I mean, you're a busy guy.
Thanks. Yeah, but I was getting some good laughs earlier today when I was listening to them. Just thinking, man, what the hell is this guy doing?
This guy is running himself ragged over here for
Yeah,
your guys's pleasure. So
yeah. My U.S. Open Cup responsibilities this week have um, been minimized, so that's pretty nice. I get a little bit of a break, and now I get to sit here and focus on League One. You know, week 8, week 9 action now.
mhm.
Um, so yeah, what are you drinking tonight? You got water?
I've got water because I was literally just got back from dinner like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah,
Just my grandma on my wife's side birthday today, so we went and I had a couple whiskey sours there, so I do have a little bit in me, but
nice.
maybe that'll make
That's
the
the
show
good
better.
stuff
Who
here.
knows?
I have water as well, but I'm also going with another monster. I got another late night tonight, but not going to be nearly as bad as it has been the past few weeks. So
There you go.
I'm okay with that.
Oh yeah. Are also trying to keep track of the well, nope, the Heat game just ended. Unfortunately, Miami did not win tonight and close out the series. So unfortunate, but
So they're out of the playoffs?
no, they're up 3-2 against the
Oh, okay.
Knicks. So game 6 in I don't remember if it's in I think game 6 is in New York again. Or maybe it's in Miami. If it's in Miami, they're gonna close it out. Whenever it is, Miami will close it out and go to the Eastern Conference Finals. So and I would be
Cool.
wearing a Heat jersey right now, but we went to Farmer Brown's for dinner, so you got to dress up just a little bit.
Yeah. Are you wearing your Fabletics stuff?
I am just the collared shirt, and then I got jeans on because I didn't feel like throwing on the whole super nice outfit. So
Yeah. I'm wearing the Blackhawks jersey tonight because they won the draft lottery. So
there you go.
Connor is going to be a Blackhawk once the draft starts.
It's
There's
all
not going
said
to
and
be
done.
any. Yeah, there's no doubt they're going to be taking that guy.
Hmm.
Yeah, everyone's talking about how he's a generational talent, and he has some pretty good highlights out there too. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I seen a thing today. I don't remember what publication it was, but they simmed all of his career in NHL 23, and he ended up with like 5 or 6 Stanley Cups. So I
man,
mean, granted, that's NHL 23, but if
yeah,
you can have that sort of career, doing well.
yeah. He, I think they were saying so. The Blackhawks have a ton of draft picks over the next 3 years. I mean, it's crazy how loaded they have in the next few years. So when you can bring in a player like Connor, and then you can start drafting those other guys, or letting other teams purchase them or trade them or something like that. I mean, yeah, you're sitting pretty. It's going to be, it's going to take a couple years for everything to sort of get adjusted. But
Hmm.
if you're a Blackhawks fan, good times
A good
are on the
time.
way. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. I'm a Rangers
We're not
fan,
here to
so
talk about hockey. We're here to talk about soccer. So let's
we are.
dive right in here.
Let's jump into it.
I got to bring up the outline.
Okay.
So yeah, as far as week 8 action, we had 5 matches. Nobody played twice. We had a couple teams that had a bye week. Those were Lexington and Northern Colorado. The first match that we had in week 8 was Charlotte hosting Greenville. And man, the fans called this one.
Mm-hmm.
They got that one right. So
Yeah.
congrats to the fans.
40% of the vote. Very
Yeah.
nice.
Um, but Greenville took the victory with a 3-1 final score
Mm-hmm.
and played in front of 356 fans.
Yikes, man.
Yeah.
Oh, Charlotte, what are you doing? I mean, that I'm not even gonna justify that with looking up their average because it is so far below. It is not even worth talking about. Um, I don't know what's going on out there. They need to figure that out
Yeah.
because that not only makes you look bad, it makes the entire league look bad when you're only drawing 300. This isn't MLS Next Pro. We need to be drawing more than 500 people.
Yeah, and I mean it was a midweek match, so it's not like there's any MLS, competition at that same time.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, there's definitely got to be some more marketing or something down there in Charlotte so they can attract some more fans. But nonetheless, we did have a match that night, and things got started off with a 42nd minute goal from Liam McKinnon, assisted by Leo Castro. That gave Greenville the early lead.
Hmm.
And then they doubled it up in the 45th plus. Well, I mean, it was the second minute of extra injury time in the first half. Aaron Walker, defender, got the goal, assisted by the previous goal scorer Liam McKinnon.
Beautiful shot.
Yeah, shot from outside the box.
Oof.
Yeah,
And just
that was a
top
good
binned
one.
it too. Perfect. Just
Hmm.
could not have struck it any sweeter.
And then Greenville struck again soon after the second half started with Lucas Coutinho getting an assist from Leo Castro. Um, Leo Castro, this is his first season in League One, and I think he sits at the top of the assist leaders
Very nice.
right now in the league. I mean, he's having a good season so far.
Lighten it up.
Yeah, I'm almost there. Yeah, he has 4 assists, and the next down is Olex Anderson at 3.
Nice.
Yeah, so he's
That's a good first season.
yeah, Leo Castro's doing good. But Liam McKinnon, when he scored that 42nd minute goal, that was his first professional goal. So big night for multiple players under the Greenville umbrella.
They needed it. Put them back on
Yeah,
the right track. So
yeah. Um, Charlotte did pull one back in the 87th minute when Dane Kelly was assisted by Miguel Ibarra, had a header from the center of the box, during build-up play following a corner kick. So Dane Kelly finally getting on the stat sheet, getting the goal.
mhm.
I think he's been getting more assists for his club than goals.
Yeah, that's probably about right. Something with Dane Kelly, man. Like in the first, I think 30 minutes or so, he had 2 attempts on goal and just couldn't put them away. Two ones that looked like they should have been put in. He should have done something a little bit different, but he went a little A little conservative in my opinion. I know on the second shot that he had early on, he should have chipped the keeper, but tried to keep it on the ground, and it was an easy save. Um, but I mean, you got to be doing better, especially when you're brought in and like the king of Charlotte right now. At least before the season started, you need to be putting those in the back of the net. I mean, it's just too easy,
Yeah,
and he's too good to be missing those shots. To be honest.
yeah. He had a total of 7 shots, had 5 of them on target, didn't have any that were blocked. So
Mhm.
he was putting some pressure on the goal, but like you said, he just needed to put some away.
Yeah, and I will say too with this match, like it, this is the Charlotte defense that I was foreseeing at the beginning of the season. This is what I thought they were going to be doing all season long. And if this is any indication of how they're going to continue this season, they're going to be in some trouble. Because especially on that first goal, how the hell do you leave a Greenville player completely unmarked in the center of the box? I mean, he took that shot from damn near the penalty spot. How does that happen? How do you lose
Hmm.
track of a player, especially when there's only one other Greenville player making a run? How do you lose track of the second guy making a run and not pick him up? Um, like I said, man, this is why I had Charlotte so low in my rankings at the beginning of the season, because this is the Charlotte team that I thought they were. Um, if you're a Charlotte fan, I mean, you gotta hope that this isn't an indication of what they're gonna start doing from here on out. But I mean, it's concerning to say the least. I know Greenville's a really good team, but just some of the mistakes that they made on these goals, just that's a bottom of the table style defensive effort from them.
Yeah, and I was surprised to see, at first when I was looking at, all the stats and all that kind of stuff, I was surprised to see that Austin Pack, had this sort of uncharacteristic night that he had. But at the same time, you have to consider what was in front of him, and if he doesn't have a whole lot going for him, I mean, it's only natural that there's going to be some goals scored on him.
Exactly.
I don't think that. I mean, Austin Pack is a quality goalkeeper. We've seen that. I mean, he leads the league in saves. He leads the league in clean sheets. I mean, this
Mhm.
guy is good.
For sure.
Um, but if the line in front of him is anemic, then he's going to be busy. There's going to be some more mistakes that are made, and so you kind of took um, the topic out of my mouth, because I was going to ask you if this was an indication of things to expect or things to come for Independence fans.
Mhm. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily think that this is going to be like a look into their future. I think is more of a um, what's the phrase I want to use? A wake up, I guess, for them,
Yeah.
or kind of a one of those moments that it makes you kind of look at yourself like, well, how did we go from playing really good defense to such a poor effort? And I think they'll get it figured out. I don't think we'll see this too much longer. But like I said, if it does continue, it's gonna turn into who can score more goals. And if it comes to who can score more goals, yeah, Charlotte has the firepower to do it. But we saw that if you're not on, I mean it. Greenville's keeper is good enough to make those stops, and I mean he's probably about middle of the pack for the entire league. So I mean, or on par with the rest of the league, minus maybe one or two other keepers. So if Dane Kelly can't be putting these away like he probably should have, and nobody else steps up like Ibarra or anybody else, they're going to have a tough time this season. But like I said, I don't foresee it happening. I think this was more of a season catching up with them thus far kind of moment, and more of a an outlier as opposed to the average for Charlotte.
Hmm. And they're in a similar situation to Richmond in that they score by committee. I mean, Dane Kelly is the only player on their team with multiple goals. They
Hmm.
have five other players who all have one goal on the season. And even when you look at assists, Dane Kelly, once again, he's the only player with multiple assists. Beyond him, you have four players with assists. So they're playing by committee, similar to what you see over at Richmond. But like you said, it's those, it's that attention to detail and that discipline on the defensive side. Um, that's really going to determine the trajectory of their season.
Hmm. Well, and I mean, playing, just getting goals by committee is fine, but
Mhm.
you have to have that kind of piece in there that is always reliable, that can do it every single match and doesn't get hot and cold. They don't have to be the hottest player in the league. They don't have to be the coldest player in the league. They got to be somewhere in that middle point to just keep up the average, um, the average to make a run in the playoffs. That being said, I still think Charlotte is a pretty solid playoff contender. But they're going to have to take a deep, hard look at themselves in the mirrors and um, figure out what went wrong in this match. Which they're more than capable with their coaching staff and players of doing that. So, and that's not
Yeah,
taking anything away from Greenville either, because Greenville just played a perfect match. They knew exactly what to do. You can tell that John Harkes and that coaching staff looked at the tape and knew exactly how to hurt Charlotte.
yeah. Um, when you look at Charlotte Independence, and you have a player like Clay Dimmick on their team. Now, I know that he didn't play in that Greenville match, but you have a player like him. I mean, they're going to want him in the lineup as much as possible. They're going to want players like Omar Sis. I know that he didn't have his best game. He was pretty busy there in the midfield, but I mean, Omar Sis is a huge presence there in the middle, and if you can get him not only there to create havoc for the opposition, but also to be, that sense of calmness when your team is in possession, that's going to pay huge dividends. So for me, uh, the defensive stuff, when you have players like Shalom Duty, you have Clay Dimick, those guys are going to have the leadership to help the defense, shore up their woes. Um, then you have, the secondary defensive players like central midfielders, like a Omar Sis, who are going to be there to help as well. You gotta, as a central midfielder, you gotta try to just, usher the pressure to the flanks and keep things away. Um, and unfortunately, it's going to be a busy season for Omar Sis. Uh, Let me
Yep.
see here, and then hopefully, they just keep scoring on the other end. I don't know.
I mean, they're going to have to. And
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's something that you and I both touched on at the beginning of the season. I mean, it looks like they're going to score a lot of goals this year. So, but we also, I know I specifically also said, what's, well, I think I used 8 and 9 goals as my reference. But like, if you score 8 goals, what good is it if you let in 9? Like,
Hmm.
what? I mean, you got to play defense too. So
Yep. Exactly.
they'll be exciting to watch either way, though. If they just score a
Yeah.
lot of goals and let a lot in, I mean, it'd still be exciting to watch. But
All right. Do you want to give us your 3 stars?
yeah. Um, so for um, the 1 star, I'm gonna go with Jared Mazzola from Greenville. Played all 90 minutes, had 5 saves from inside the box, and 12 recoveries, and um, really stopped the offense, the very potent Charlotte offense, um, in their tracks. I mean, let in 1 goal, but that was also late in the match. So the 87th minute, I mean, that's going to happen too. And it stuff like that happens when the balls start getting batted around inside the box. Bad things usually happen when the ball stays in the box for more than a couple seconds. So, um, yeah. My 2-star is the highly influential player. Um, I'm going to go with Aaron Walker. Played 78 minutes, had that goal, um, 89% passing, which is a huge number, especially for a midfielder. 5 passes into the final third and 5 recoveries. So playing very good defense. And then my last 3 stars, I'm actually going to go off script a little bit on this one, Rich. And um, I want to credit John Harkes, actually.
Hey,
Um,
all right.
because the way Greenville played that match, it looked like tactically they knew exactly what they needed to do and what positions they needed to be in to really beat this Charlotte squad. It looked like there was a lot of time spent studying the formations and studying the tendencies of Charlotte to try to unlock them as a team. And Greenville just looked the better team. Now, it didn't show up as far as um, offensive like XG or anything like that, but um, just kind of an eye test and just looking at more of the decisiveness of Greenville as opposed to what looked a little bit more indecisive from Charlotte. And I think John Harkes doesn't get nearly enough credit in being the tactical mastermind that he is. So I'll give him that last 3-star.
Yeah, if you consider Greenville's recent performances, in
Mm-hmm.
their last five, they have 3 wins. In their last three, they have 2 wins. So, I mean, this is a club that's turning it around.
Yep.
And like you said, I mean, Harkes is the man at the middle of all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do remember not that long ago we were getting fielding questions about whether it was time for Harks to go or not, and we
Yeah,
kind of pumped the brakes on it. Like, listen, man, he's a great coach. Give him a little bit of time, and then sure enough, they go on this run, and they look like the Greenville team from the last 4 seasons.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean, we were really getting close to what's going on with Greenville. I mean, we
hmm
had we had those storylines ready to go, but
yep,
yeah, they started turning it around very quickly.
hmm yeah. I mean, that's a credit to them, and a credit to their coaching staff. So we'll see if it can continue. This is also one of those leagues where you can be hot for a few matches and then go on a complete cold streak. So
Yep.
in a few more weeks, we could be fielding the same questions about whether Harks deserves to stay or not. So,
Yeah. Yep. All right, and then moving into the individual club news. So this week, Charlotte takes on Lexington. They get on the road and head over to Lexington for that match. Um, their next home match is in week 10, where they have that home match versus North Carolina. So that's going to be a big one.
mhm.
And that is their fan appreciation night. And they already have 500 flags ready to hand out to the first fans walking into the gates. So if you're going to that one, get there early so you can get one of those flags. That's going to be pretty cool.
I'm going to hold
And
my
then,
tongue.
yeah, exactly. I know exactly where you're going with that too.
hmm
And then just announced earlier today, they acquired a player on loan from FC Tulsa from the USL Championship, 18-year-old Luka Sawinski.
hmm
Um, at the time that he joined FC Tulsa, he was the youngest signing in club history. Had a hat trick in his second start with the club, and that hat trick came against Indy 11. And he was with Barca's residency academy for a bit. He played with their U19 side in 2022, and he won the MLS Next Southwest Division Championship, scoring 15 goals and earning 5 assists in 20 appearances.
Because this
So,
Charlotte team needs more firepower.
I was hoping you were going to say something like that.
Like, jeez, they are just loading up. They're going with the philosophy of just let it fucking fly, and then whatever happens on the defensive end happens. Jeez, man. No joke. Great signing though. Um, Kid's gonna be good. Obviously, I mean, 15 goals and 5 assists and 20 appearances. That's being involved in 20 different goals in 20 appearances. I mean, that's next level good. That's like FIFA my player stat stuff right there.
Yeah. Yep. And then Greenville is also active this coming weekend. They host Richmond, and I think it was yeah, it was May 4th, obviously,
Mhm.
Star Wars Day. They announced that they are going to be doing Star Wars Night on August 5th, and the first 1,500 fans are going to get a lightsaber.
Yes.
Not only that, but if you get the Star Wars Greenville Triumph bundle, for $30, you get a general admission ticket on top of, as well as a limited edition Greenville Triumph Star Wars themed T-shirt. So make sure you take advantage of that deal. That's going to be pretty cool. And
I didn't know that. Hey, Geo, if you're listening, you want to send me a DM as
print,
soon as you can? That would be
yeah,
great. I will. I'll send you $30 if you want to get me one of those T-shirts.
and you were actually really impressed with Greenville because they were promoting it in the right way too.
Yeah. They they happen to use the um, I won't say the best because I don't even think it's the best Star Wars movie, but it is my favorite Star Wars movie, Return of the Jedi poster as their poster. And I was, what would be the word? Infamous enough to get put on that poster. Um, my name put on there for my my ruthless um, little bit of just poking fun at Greenville for using the Last Jedi on their last one. So, but they did it right. They made everything right by putting my favorite Star Wars movie as the next one. So
You say they threw your name in there?
my name is on that poster. Yeah,
No way. Are you serious?
my Twitter name is on the one that they tweeted out at the bottom, and specifically says that they were using it because I had said that the Last Jedi is not a real Star Wars movie. So appreciate that. I'm sure Geo had a little bit of a hand in that, so I
Oh yeah.
appreciate you.
I'm gonna have to go take a look at that. That's cool. All right, so then we move on to the second match that occurred on Wednesday. It was a drawless, I'm sorry, it was a scoreless draw between One Knox and Ford Madison.
Hmm.
Fans were heavily in favor of Ford Madison winning this one, and it
Yeah,
looked like for a bit there that they were actually going to get a few off of One Knox, but yeah, just couldn't find the back of the net.
yeah, not super impressed with either team in this match, to be honest. I mean, if we just go looking at even the G plus um, statistics. I mean, nobody was over one in in any of the statistics in this. Um, the attendance was 1555. So, geez, which I forget where was this? This game was played in One Knox, correct?
Yeah.
So that's about 1,000 fans under what they
Oh,
usually pull. Granted,
but
they've only had a game there, so
yeah,
um,
and it was midweek.
and it was midweek. So not gonna say too much on that. It's better than 500, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So no goals and no red cards, but there was a yellow card in this match from one of the most terrible dives I have ever seen in my entire life. This was like Neymar level of bad dives. Cheney doesn't even get touched in the box and falls over and gets a yellow card for embellishment. You know how hard you have to be, or how hard it is as a striker to fall down in the box and then get yourself yellow carded for embellishment? It's really hard to do. But
Hey,
he somehow
props to the
pulled it
ref for
off.
doing it though.
Yeah, I mean that needs to happen more often. There needs to be consequences for diving in the box.
I love it. I'm gonna have to. There should be like a GIF of that. Just keep showing it over and over on repeat.
Hmm. Oh, and Tim, we didn't get to your question or your comment yet, but um, Tim, going back to the Star Wars conversation with Greenville, said they don't know what real stars are. How would they know real Star Wars? Solid point, Tim. Very solid point.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm a little
So
upset I
true.
didn't think about that myself. Damn.
Oh yeah, and it's what is it? Greenville and Richmond. So yeah, neither side has. Well, I mean Greenville does. Yeah, never mind. I was gonna make a joke there, but yeah,
Greenville's got it. Yeah.
yeah. So despite the fact that there weren't any goals, there were some good performances though,
Mm-hmm.
and there were some matches this week where I felt like it would be a tough task for you to figure out your 3 stars.
Mm-hmm.
Even though this one didn't feature any goals, I still feel like this one is one where you can still have a pretty easy time picking out your 3 stars. You're not going to struggle too much.
Yeah. So the first star for me is Derek Gebhard. Um, Played 83 minutes, 89% passing, 3 out of 3 successful dribbles, 3 passes into the final third, and 9 recoveries. Um, just a great game, and he continues to be a a force for Madison. So um, easy choice for that one, especially anything over 80% passing is going to get you high on that list, as I've stated multiple times before. Um, and in that vein, my number 2 star is Jimmy Villalobos for one knocks. 81 minutes, 81% passing, 4 chances created, 10 passes into the final third, 6 out of 6 accurate long balls, and 4 out of 4 on ground duels. Just again, one of those that Rich and I talked about a lot last season, and that Villalobos is just a great player and huge addition, and that 10 passes into the final third is huge. They didn't capitalize on it, but in the future, you keep getting those. Eventually, they're going to start finding their way in. And then um, for my third one, I'm going to go with Martinez from Madison. 89 minutes with 6 passes into the final third, 4 interceptions, and 11 recoveries. So you have your central midfielder playing a lot of defensive duties there, and played a huge part in keeping this a scoreless draw.
For Ford Madison, who do you think? I mean, if you had to pick, who do you think would be your MVP of the season so far?
Mm.
There's a few names you could pick from, but who do you think you would pick?
Um, Personally, I'm gonna go with Gebhard. He's their most
Yeah.
consistent player. He's their what seems like kind of their general there in the midfield. Um, and he's been there before and knows how to win. So for me, he plays all over the field too. There's not a match where you don't hear his name for doing the right things. So granted, you could go with Christian Cheney, as he's on 3 goals this season. I mean, and I was listening to Fuego's podcast earlier today, and brought up a good point. Christian Cheney has more goals himself than the entire Fuego team has goals. So
Ooh.
that would have been an easy one to go for as well. But for me personally, I like the midfield players a little bit more than strikers because they do a little bit more than score goals, in my opinion. So
Yeah, see, I 100% agree with you because I feel like there's an argument that can be made for, Cheney, for Martinez, for,
mhm,
I mean, you could even throw out like Timmy Mel or even Jay Krul,
yep.
but I agree with you, Gebhard. I mean, he's just utilized everywhere around the field, and he's impactful wherever he goes.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I agree. Even though he, lines up on the flank, he still floats inside. He makes things happen. He
Yep.
combines well with other people. Um, so yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think Gebhardt is their MVP at this point.
Hmm.
Yeah, good choice. So you said Gebhardt was one. You said who was two?
Jimmy Villalobos.
Villalobos, and then Martinez was three.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, that's a good three. I like that.
This was actually surprisingly difficult to pick a three out of. There was a lot of guys that could have carried the honor on this one, and
Yeah.
I flirted with in my head I flirted with the referee pulling the yellow card as one of the stars, but I feel like I threw a curveball on the last one. I can't throw two curveballs in a row because then you'll know one's coming on the next one. So
Well, I feel like we could throw a star at Madison's at Evan and the rest of the promotional team there at Madison because man, with some of their recent announcements and the promos that they're having for future home matches,
oh, I
man,
love
they
it.
are killer. I love this. I know that we're skipping over One Knox. We'll come back to them, but I mean, it was just a perfect segue to talk more Ford Madison here. So week 9, we'll get this out of the way. Week 9, they travel to North Carolina to play them this weekend.
Hmm.
Now we get into their promo nights, and they are hilarious. I'm so excited to talk about these.
I love them.
So May 18th, you have Soccer Mom Night, and I'm trying. I don't know that I would be able to say these without laughing, but they have two deals going that night. And the first one for $33, you get a belt bag, a can of wine, a match ticket, and a bumper sticker. And then for $28, you get a flock end match ticket. You get a I Love Soccer Moms t-shirt, a bumper sticker, and a white claw. It's just so fucking hilarious.
Can I get both
Yeah,
and
I
give
know,
me a
man.
discount on it? Because all of that sounds awesome.
Yep. And then Pride Night, you can get a match ticket. You can get a Pride scarf. Proceeds go to Outreach Madison, so that's certainly a good one. They're having a deal that night as well, where you can get a match ticket as well as a Trek bike hat, which is pretty cool considering how much they're involved with, biking in
Hmm.
Madison. So that's cool.
Very cool.
June 10th, another one that I love. It is DILF night.
Rich, what does DILF
Dad.
stand for?
According to their website, it's dads in love with football.
Perfect. Yeah, I would love this promotion if it were the other thing that stands for or the other acronym for it. But yeah, I mean, just another one where they absolutely kill it.
Yeah. And it gets even better. So they catered the mom night with, the things that you would get inside the gate. For this one, for $33, you get Ford Madison sandals, Ford Madison socks, because they match perfectly with the sandals, of course. You get a can of beer and you get a match ticket. I mean, that's
Perfect.
so damn good.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Allison chiming in and saying it stands for whether or not your podcast should be rated as explicit. Very true. I think we're way past that point already. I
Yeah.
think we have to throw the explicit tag on all of our podcasts. And
Yep.
that's usually due to me, but what are you gonna do?
Imagine if they had just like the Ford Madison, like not like Comic Sans, but that cartoony font that they use sometimes for their shirts, and it
Hmm.
just says like DILF across the front. Oh my gosh, that would be hilarious.
That would be great.
Man, that would be so good. Um, they have a couple others. They have a Guinness record night where you get a can of Guinness. The fried
Yeah.
shrimp boat with the Creole sauce sounds really good. I didn't know exactly how that tied into the Guinness stuff, but I'm still here for it because yeah, that sounds delicious.
Hmm.
And then the supper club night, you get a deck of cards, Badger Club beer. What's a Wisconsin relish tray, by the way?
I don't know, but we're about to find out.
Yeah. So yeah, those are some of the promo nights that they have coming up, and they're hilarious. Support it. Get out there, get your tickets, take advantage of those bundles, get your merchandise. That's awesome. That's cool stuff.
A relish tray at the Wisconsin Supper Club is an appetizer to your appetizer. Each relish tray is different, but expect to have a cream cheese spread accompanied by assorted crackers and fresh or pickled vegetables.
So it's like an appetizer to like a charcuterie board or something.
I would assume so. Yeah, it looks like there's pickles, radishes, grapes, carrots, celery,
Hmm,
then some assorted crackers, I guess.
nice. Actually, doesn't sound too bad.
I mean, sounds like a vegetable tray. That's what I call it when I bring stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I'd delete it.
Tim Howerton chiming in. Dilf could also stand for draws in league football if it's Madison.
Hey man, I don't know. Omaha has they've been drawing a ton the past couple of years, so
Yeah, we
Union
know about
Omaha could,
draws.
yeah, Union Omaha could have that kind of promo. Uh,
Please do.
Owen is still keeping that tradition alive on Twitter. He's still doing the draw tradition that he
Yep.
does.
Hmm.
But the other big news coming out of Ford Madison, they just announced, I think it was just a couple days ago,
Hmm.
they're having an international friendly against, well, they used to be in the Liga MX. They're now in the next, division down. I think they call it the expansion.
Yeah.
But uh, Atlante FC, they're going to be playing them on Thursday, July 20th at 7 p.m. They're at Brees Stevens Field.
Hmm.
$30 gets you one match ticket, Modelo, and a burrito. And I didn't know this. I
Modelo.
thought I thought that club was still in Liga MX, but they actually got relegated um, about 10 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And another thing I did not know is that Liga MX, the whole Mexican Soccer Federation, paused their promotion relegation for 5 to 6 years while clubs continue to recover from um, COVID-19,
Mm.
the financial strain of it all.
Yeah, and it's actually funny that you say that because I was having a conversation with a couple of the guys that I work with that are big soccer fans. I just happen to be on the same job site as them now, and um, they had just mentioned that to me that they had done away with promotion and relegation because we were talking about English football and how I thought we needed it here. And it was like, yeah, kind of like what Mexico has. We're like, no, they did away with it. Like, oh, I had no idea. I thought they were still
Yeah,
doing it, but
yeah. I just learned that today, so
yeah,
that was interesting.
learning new
Hopefully,
stuff every
they
day.
reinstate it after those 5 or 6 years are passed, because
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, if it's
don't
been
want
a
to see them.
staple for so long, it'd be hard to not put it back in. And I mean, it I don't know. I'm not going to continue to stand for promotion and relegation here on the podcast because everybody knows what my thoughts are on it.
Yeah,
But um, it makes a big difference. I'll just leave it at that.
yeah. I'm just, I it still takes some getting used to for me to learn about their championships like the Clausura and the Apertura. I know I'm butchering those. I'm not going to try to imitate my Spanish voice or anything like that. But um, so they have those two tournaments, essentially playoffs in the fall and then again in the spring.
Mm.
Um, so I'm still getting used to all of that because I get the two confused all the time, and I even know what they translate to in Spanish, but I still get them all mixed up. Um, but yeah, it's still, I mean, a pretty cool system.
Yeah,
I
for
just
sure.
wish I just hope they go back to it so they're not closed off. Oh yeah, so we got to go back to One Knox. Um, oh, they have some cool news too. So week 9 they host Northern Colorado, um, and they have a new deal for fans. So you can park for free in a downtown parking garage, and then if you go to the Knox Brew Hub and pay $10 to get a wristband, you can ride a shuttle bus to the stadium. Um, drink, have a great time at the stadium, support your club, and then 15 minutes after the final whistle, get back on the bus. They'll take you back downtown, and you can go to your car and drive home. Pretty awesome deal.
That is a really good deal, especially for $10.
Yeah,
So I mean, you're probably going to pay $10 in parking anyway.
yeah,
So why not?
yeah, exactly. Let somebody else do the driving, man. That's
Exactly.
that's
Always be
pretty cool.
responsible.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I was glad to see that one. Oh, and yeah, Brian, I saw you responding to their tweet about their merchandise, the new hats they have.
Yeah. So they're obviously in Knoxville's blue color with just a cursive script, one Knoxville across, and it also has the what would you even call that? That braided rope that goes across the bill and the brim, or the bill and the top of the hat. So if you go into your grandpa's closet and go pick out an old farming hat, it has that very same thing on it. And I love it. Like it is one of my favorite looks ever. It is so simple and retro looking. It is by far my favorite hat that I've seen in the league thus far.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. Are you gonna try to get one?
I'm gonna try to get my hands on one. Yeah,
Nice.
check their website and see if I can't snag one from them.
Yeah.
Like I said on Twitter, I'm not even a Knoxville fan, and I love that hat and would wear it. But I'm also one of those people. I like to color coordinate my hats with the outfit that I'm wearing. So if I'm wearing like sporting Kansas City blue, I always try to wear a blue hat or something like that. So,
Yeah.
um, and I got a few plain shirts that I don't have hat fixes for yet. So I think I got exactly the right outfit combination if I can get my hands on one.
Yeah. Yeah, it has that retro like 70s look to it. I think
Mm-hmm.
it looks cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. Whoever designed that over at One Knox, good job.
Oh yeah, keep it up.
All right, so that's the Wednesday matches. Then we get into the Saturday matches. The first one was Richmond hosting Union Omaha. Um, this one was, I mean, if we're just going to bluntly say it, it was kind of uneventful.
Mm-hmm. Um, I mean, there was a few scares
Yeah,
for both sides. Um, I think Richmond kind of got the best of those scares. But then again, is anything really a scare when you with Rashid Nuhu in that? I mean, most of the time he's going to make a save, but this match to me, well, actually, you know what? Let's talk about the fans picked a Union Omaha win with
yep,
53% of the vote. Um, And funnily enough, 25% picked a draw. So, um, 25% of the viewers got that one right.
Wow,
Um,
I thought that was interesting.
yeah, not bad. This match was super back and forth feeling though. It looked like momentum just swang wildly back and forth. Um, Early in the match, it was all Richmond, um,
Hmm.
and then kind of midway through the first half, it started jumping back towards Omaha, and then Omaha dominated damn near the entire second half until you hit about the 80th minute or so, and Richmond then really started to come back on hard, and forced a really good save out of Nuhu in the
Oh yeah,
last minute or two of the match.
he had two crucial saves right down the stretch.
Hmm.
I think it was two. Probably could have been more, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But just a back and forth kind of, it felt almost like a heavyweight boxing match where nobody really could get the upper hand and both teams had their guards up. Um, and it was really interesting to me to see these two teams play each other with the system that Omaha has adapted to now. It almost looked like Richmond, as we know Richmond, playing a carbon copy of Richmond. Just the teams look exactly the same, and the way they play is almost exactly the same, um, which could be make for some very interesting matches come down the stretch or come playoff time.
yeah. I when I think about this match, I just want to call it like the blue ball match because there was so much buildup, but there was just no finish to it whatsoever, and it was so frustrating.
That's a good way to put it. That I don't think there's a better way to put that match than that.
And man, I mean, I don't even, I should pull up the shots on goal and stuff like that, but gosh, like everything just seemed to be going sky high over the bar and stuff like that. It was just
Yeah,
son of a
I think I
bitch.
texted the group message between uh, you, me, and Chip,
Yep.
and had said, are we like aware that we're supposed to go under the bar and not over it?" Because I feel like Omaha kicked 4 or 5 shots over top of the goal,
Yeah.
and I mean there was 27 total shots in this match, but only a combined 5 shots on target.
Oh my gosh. Omaha had 14 shots and only one on target.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Hmm.
Oh gosh, that sucks.
Hmm. And I mean, I guess a silver lining to this, if you're a Union Omaha fan, that they were able to kind of trap Richmond in an offsides trap 5 times in this
Yeah.
match. So if there is a silver lining to a 0-0 draw where you shot 14 times and only one on target, your defense played well.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree with you. I think Richmond certainly owned, the I would say, the greater portion of the first 15 minutes of the match. Um, and for vast spans of time, especially in the second half, Union Omaha, dictated the tempo of the match and everything. It's just, man, it's a huge letdown that nothing hit the back of the net.
Tim coming in saying 14 shots and Akira Fitzgerald only stopped one. That's winning.
Yep,
Eat that.
that's goalkeeper of the year right there.
That's fair. That's fair. That's 100% save rate right there.
Yeah. Well, this was another one where even though there weren't any goals, there were certainly a lot of strong performances, and so I don't think it'll be too hard to pick out your three. But at the same time, there were enough quality performances that it might actually be a little difficult.
Hmm. Um, okay, I'm not gonna let my bias influence this one too much, and so the one my, the first star generally goes to your top scorer and outstanding goalkeeper, and you have to give it to Rashid Nuhu. 90 minutes, 4 saves, one of them being diving, 2 saves inside the box, 2 punch outs, and 7 recoveries. I Nuhu gonna Nuhu. I mean, he's a big reason why Omaha has drawn matches as opposed to lost matches. Um, just an all around great. Um, oh, for the 2 star, Nathan Ani for Richmond. 90 minutes, 86% passing, 6 passes into the final third, 3 clearances and 4 recoveries. I mean, 86% passing, man. That as a center back as well. I mean, that's how you know Richmond was on their game, playing out of the bag. Um, they did have a couple points where it looked a little sketchy that maybe passes were coming too close, but it never came back to bite them. So um, just another great performance there. Um, and this last one, I'm gonna have to give it to Luis Gil. Luis Gil. He probably deserves a little bit more recognition than he gets um, from. I feel like, especially from Union Omaha fans. Um, I think this guy plays great, and he plays really well with his head, um, and not playing the ball with his head either, but like being a guy who is always doing the right things. In this match specifically, he played all 90 minutes, 83% passing, 3 chances created, and was never dispossessed, but came back and recovered 4 separate times. Um, and he was playing that role of um, kind of that hybrid midfield. God, does he play on the left or the right? I think it's the left.
Uh, I think he was actually playing in the middle that night.
But he could, yeah, he probably was. Trying hard to remember that one. Was it's also
But I mean,
Cinco de
I can
Mayo, but
understand
I mean, he usually
right,
plays
because
on
on the
the
weak
left,
fields.
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
But he doesn't just play on that one side of the field. Like he plays pretty much all the entire middle and left side of the field. So
yeah,
um yeah, he gets um my 3rd star for this match.
yeah. For Union Omaha, I was having a tough time trying to get the three to suggest to you because I mean, even Connor had a good match. Shaft had a good match. JP Skiers. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, there were plenty of guys. Even Dos Santos. I mean, there were guys that I could have thrown in there, but I think that's the three that I threw your way for Union Omaha. I felt like those were pretty solid choices, and
Hmm.
I wholeheartedly agree with you on Luis Hill. Um, Having him play in front of Connor Doyle the way that he did, there was a lot of creativity and there was a lot of link up play that was happening there. That's a good spine to have in the middle of the field for Union Omaha.
Hmm. Very much so.
And then as far as some club news, Richmond this week they go to Greenville. I think we've mentioned that a couple times. For any Richmond fans who are watching or listening, head over to the Triple Crossing downtown for the watch party, and they're going to have prize packs up for raffle. So get there, get your seat, buy your tickets, be a part of the raffle, hang out with all the rest of your Richmond Kickers, family and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be a fun night. It's going to be a good match.
Hmm.
And their next home match is looks like it's going to be week 10, and that's going to be First Responders Night. So May 20th is going to be First Responders Night. You can have your kids go and touch a truck. You can take part in the food drive. If you donate 5 or more non-perishable items, excuse me, you can receive 10% off at the team store during the match. So
Yes.
uh, show up to the match, donate plenty of non-perishable items, go get yourself some Richmond Kickers merchandise. Have a great night. And then on the other side, we have Union Omaha. They have a bye week this week. I think in week 10 they have two matches, so they better rest up. But as far as Union Omaha, they are going to be taking part in the Cinco de Mayo parade this weekend from 10 a.m. to 12:30. So come out, say hi to any of the players that happen to be there, any of the front office people, hang out with the fans, and just have yourself a good time.
Yeah, I think I saw in the Parliament Discord that the majority, if not all of the players, are supposed to be there. So,
Oh, that's going to be cool. Nice. And then Union Omaha's next home match is going to be week 10, May 24th. That's going to be World Soccer Night. And I didn't see any promos for that night, but what you can expect is some really cool national flags from people bringing it in, jerseys from their favorite clubs back home, and just the overall energy that they bring. Because last year when we did the World Soccer Night, there was some cool stuff happening.
yeah, there was quite a bit. I remember seeing, um, I remember that was one of our better attended matches last year.
Yeah,
I'm really excited to do a write up for Who Gives a Hoot on that one. Gonna take a lot more pictures this time too because there was some really cool stuff last year. I remember seeing on the berm across from where our seats are, so we're right down below where the camera is. If you watch Union Omaha matches, there was a flag that I did not recognize. We ended up looking it up and finding out it was an Afghanistan flag.
yeah.
So, um, really cool to see them parading around with an Afghanistan flag that I'd never seen before. So, um, it's really cool to see just how diverse a city like Omaha is
Hmm.
with World Soccer Night like that.
Yeah, I think that one set the record for group sales. Um, if I remember correctly, I could be
Hmm.
wrong, but I'm pretty sure that that one set the record.
I believe it. There was a lot of fans there that night.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then
Ooh,
the
Tim
next,
also pointing out that that is also the battle for the belt between
oh, that's right, because
Reedy,
Greenville comes to
yeah,
town.
Reedy River Riot and Omaha Parliament.
Yeah,
So shout
that's
out to
gonna be
that.
cool.
I still have on the other side of my pin here. I have my battle for the belt pin sitting on the side closest to me.
Yeah,
I don't want to mess with my mic too much and do too much noise, otherwise I would show it. But it we got that. I think we did that the first year. Parliament put those out the first year. So
I have some of the tiny ones.
hmm
I don't know if I did they make bigger ones?
I think it's just the small ones. The one I have
Okay,
behind my Pride one on my mic stand is just one of the small ones.
yeah, I have one. I have one of those too. Those are cool pins.
Hmm.
All right, so then we get to the second match on Saturday night, and that was Chattanooga hosting Tormenta. A lot of fans got this one right too.
Yeah, 52.9% calling out for a Tormento win, um, in a rematch of last year's final as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
And so, yeah, this game was played in Chattanooga, in front of 2,434 fans, which that's right on par with their average. Their average is 2,457. So,
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
right on average for them, which is bigger than their average from 2022 thus far. So, about 100 or so more fans this year as opposed to last year. So, some good growth there as well.
And Tormenta got a goal just before halftime with Pedro Fonseca getting the goal in the 42nd minute, and he was assisted by Jackson Corey.
Mhm.
Um, just a shot straight from the center of the box.
Yeah, and it came off of a really good job by Tormenta of using the switch, playing from switching the ball from the right side to the left side.
Hmm.
Um, and I mean, they had been doing that pretty much all night, really. Um, so it was, if you're a Tormenta fan, you love to see that because that's kind of the way they were playing last year when they won the title, down in that stretch. And it looks like they're kind of getting back to um, that form from last season where they're being aggressive, they're making runs, and they found it in this one.
Yep. And then Tormenta got their insurance policy in the 58th minute when Ryan Sierakowski scored his first goal of the season, and he was assisted by Makwele Akale.
Hmm.
And man, another goal from outside the box. We had a couple of those this week.
Yeah, goal of the week is going to be a tough one this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean this match it kind of sounds like if you just kind of look at the score that maybe Tormenta kind of ran away with this, but it's actually kind of the reverse. Chattanooga had plenty of chances they just could not capitalize on. Um, and I mean it's kind of shown in the expected goals for this match. Chattanooga being at 1.15 xG as opposed to Tormenta's 0.81. So you would have thought Chattanooga would have been able to get um, a few more goals, but um, like I said, they had their chances, but just couldn't capitalize on it.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, they had 14 shots on goal. I mean, I'm sorry, they had 14 total shots. I apologize. So they were, even though they, even though they were on the losing end, they were still putting plenty of pressure on Tormenta
Hmm. Yeah,
and, keeping Pablo Hara busy. I mean, they had, uh, looks like they only had 4 shots on target, but still, that's 4 shots on target. So,
yeah. I mean, it was 4 shots on target, but they were also threatening inside the box quite a bit.
mhm. Yeah,
Um,
7 shots inside the
mhm,
box. Yeah.
Yep.
And then looking at some of the tendencies for this one, um, I kind of feel like Chattanooga was a lot more productive in the second half. They had a couple chances in the first half, but pretty steadily maintained themselves pretty well
Hmm.
in the second. It was just a matter of capitalizing on those chances, like you said.
Yep. And I mean, that'll come with time. Chattanooga is just Chattanooga is struggling from losing a lot of their players last year, and
Yeah.
it's going to take them a while to figure out exactly how they need to play to win. But there's still plenty of time left in the season to get that figured out.
Yep. All right. So let's hear your candidates for the 3 stars.
Yeah. So the first star, that's going to go to Pablo Hara. 90 minutes, 4 saves, diving save, 2 saves inside the box, and 7 recoveries. Um, and really being a kind of a field general there too. Um, very active. You could hear him quite a bit, somehow over the noise that the Chattanooga fans were bringing because they always bring noise. Um, you could still hear him chirping and getting at his guys to make sure that nothing was getting past him, even though it did quite a few times. Um, so our second 2 stars here for uh, we're gonna go with Mo Espinoza, my boy Mo. 80 minutes, 3 chances created, 5 passes into the final third. That probably responsible for a couple of those that got into the box that that kind of threatened. 10 recoveries and earned 4 fouls, which is another stat that is going to get you on my list pretty quickly if you can earn those fouls and do it without embellishment and getting a yellow card. Um, and then the third one, I got to give it to, uh, is it Minnesota Messi, right? For Akile?
Minnesota Messi. Yep,
Yeah.
that's it.
79 minutes, 1 assist, 90% passing. Um, 5 chances created, 3 passes into the final third, and only dispossessed once while recovering 6 times. Um, 90% passing over 79 minutes is huge, especially as a winger. Um, and it's something he's a big part of. When he's on, Tormenta is a much better team.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So he's going to be huge coming down the stretch here with Tormenta, um, and for the rest of the season. So definitely keep an eye on him. And this is not going to be his first nor his last time making the star list, because when he's on, he is on.
yeah. He's a huge presence for Tormenta's offense, and um, yeah, he's a huge, like, very productive member of that offense.
Mm-hmm. Super creative and can be trusted to take shots,
Yeah,
which is exactly what you want with a right winger.
yep, yeah. I like those three. All right, so now moving into Chattanooga news. They have a bye week this week as well. Their next match is week 10 for the home match against Omaha.
Mhm.
And for that home match, they're going to have Beer Fest again.
Yes.
So for $29.99, you can get a general admission ticket. You can get a Red Wolves beer stein. Now, the one that's posted in the advertisement is not the actual stein they're going to be giving you, but they're still going to
Boo.
be giving you a stein. Yeah. So um, be on the lookout for that. You do get a complimentary pour with that stein, and then you also get unlimited beer samples at that match too.
Very nice.
Yeah. Hopefully, it's not like a bait and switch like we saw with Union Omaha, where you get the hype of hoping to get a Union Omaha Stein, and then you get there and it's like some dinky plastic thing.
This one?
Hopefully, yeah, that's the one.
I've got 3 of them on my desk right now.
I still have the one that I got last year. I think it's in my car actually. Probably clean that out. And then for Tormenta, Dalton Knutson got his 100th professional appearance.
Very nice.
Yeah, congrats to him. That's awesome.
Definitely.
And then they also made Tormenta made an announcement that for the Saturday, June 3rd match against Greenville, when Tormenta travels to Greenville, they're going to be putting together a bus trip for fans. If you pay $75, you get um, the chance to take part in this 1 day trip where you get to ride the bus up to Greenville, um, and get to witness the Peaches State Derby, and then you get to come back on the bus and everything. So whenever you have a chance to travel on a bus to go watch your team play, take up that opportunity. I can't tell you how many bus trips I've been on, and every single time they have been such a fun experience.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's going to be especially exciting if you're a Tormenta fan, given their run of form against Greenville over the past year.
Hmm.
So that could make for
Yeah.
a very interesting day trip and a very interesting bus ride back home.
Hmm. I would go just to watch Bolt create some havoc
Oh yeah, for sure. I
there
would
in
love to
Owens.
see Bolt on the bus. That would be great.
They're
Flapping
not
his
going
wings, hanging out the back door.
to. That's such a good image.
I need somebody to Photoshop that. Anybody with good Photoshop skills, please put Bolt coming out of the back of a bus, flapping his
Yeah,
wings,
yeah.
going down the highway.
And then for the last match of the week, we had Central Valley hosting North Carolina, and this one was all North Carolina. All base. I mean, we had 86.4% of fans saying that they thought that North Carolina FC was going to win, and sure enough, yes, it was all North Carolina.
I would like to know who the 4.5% that thought Central Valley was going to win. I send me a DM because I kind of want to know what you were thinking on this one. What in Central Valley's um, previous matches gave you the idea that they were going to be able to pull off a win against the, in my power rankings and our power rankings, the top team in the league?
Yeah, that was simply a poll. That was not any Vegas betting. And I don't even I didn't see any attendance reported anywhere, so I have no idea what their attendance was for that night.
Let's see if I can pull it up.
But while you're doing that, in the 32nd minute, North Carolina scored their first goal. Rafa Menzigen, you've heard that name before, and you'll hear it plenty of times again for the rest of the season.
Mhm. I don't have a
Um,
number on that, but it was rather low.
yeah, I can't imagine it was too terribly high. But Rafa was assisted by Olex Anderson.
Stop me if you heard that before.
Yeah, just a great finish from the center of the box. I mean, man, Rafa's having just a hell of a season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's your current Golden Boot leader.
What does he have, like 5 or 6 goals or something like that?
I think he's on 5 after this match.
Uh,
4 or 5, but 5 sounds correct.
I just looked it up on the league website. He has 6.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay, never mind.
and he's leading the league in shots with 23.
Who's
Next one
second?
down is Olex at 17. Olex Anderson at 17.
Who's second on the Golden Boot race?
Second in Golden Boot is,
It's probably a tie between like 6
yeah,
people.
yeah, exactly. Louis Perez, Noe Meza, Lucas Coutinho, Noah Pilato,
Is that with 3?
um, and then Corey over at Tormenta.
All with 3 goals apiece?
Yeah,
Yeah, sounds about right.
yeah. So yeah, right now Rafa's running away with it.
I mean, we saw this coming though. Like last year, towards the end of the season, I
Hmm.
mean, especially during the playoffs, me and you were really high on Menzigen and wondering why
Yeah,
he was coming in as a sub and
yeah.
wondering if he was going to get the chance next season to be a starter with Chattanooga. But here he is going to NCFC and just lighting it up. So,
Hmm.
I mean, he obviously should have been a starter the whole time, but played his role as super sub very well.
Yeah. And another player who was underutilized at his club was Louis Perez. He got the unassisted free kick in the second half.
Yeah. I mean, whether or not that was by design or not, I mean, that kind of remains to be seen. I think it's just a really good player on a bad squad, but
Yeah. There was a little bit of drama there at the in the late stages of the match when
mm-hmm.
Razak Cromwell got yellow card, and then man, he got a stupid red card immediately afterwards.
Yeah, you can't touch the ref. That
Yeah,
that's immediately and every single time a yellow card, and that's not a great look for your debut match for the club.
yeah,
I mean, and like I said, I listened to the Fuego podcast earlier today, and they echoed the same statement. Just how do you make that boneheaded of a play in
yeah,
your debut,
yeah.
especially on a team that needs you like that? There's no excuse for that.
You even saw his teammates. If you watch that video back, you see some of his teammates like throwing their hands up, like, "Ah, son of a bitch, what are you doing, man?"
Mm-hmm. Well, because I mean, I understand. I mean, you're going to be frustrated. I mean, and every player on Fuego has a right to be frustrated with their run of form. But I mean, you still got to use your head out there. It's
Hmm.
just ridiculous. Like I don't understand what any of these guys that ever touch the ref are thinking. Like, oh, if I touch him and I spin him around and I talk to him, he's gonna see my way and then, oh yeah, reverse it. Like, what are you gonna gain out of it? He's not gonna listen to you anyway.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
ridiculous.
Oh, you know,
Oh, did we lose Rich?
no, I'm here.
Oh nope, he's back. Okay, he froze for a second there. So
Oh, did I? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I heard the oh and then you froze.
I was I was saying like just acting out like, oh yeah, you talked me out of that yellow card. Look, let me you raised a really good point. Let me just put that back
Right.
in my pocket. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, never gonna happen.
Yeah. Do the whole thing where they go and check VAR and they put the card up and they go, no.
Yeah,
It's like, no, it's never gonna happen.
yeah.
especially in this league.
So with this one being all North Carolina, I tried to give you some good candidates from Fuego. I did my best. Hopefully, you know, I made the choice a little difficult for you.
I mean, the top scorer 1 star at Rafa Menzigen.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough to have a match with NCFC and not put Menzigen somewhere on this list. He played 88 minutes, had a goal, 2 chances created, 7 passes into the final third, and 8 recoveries playing up top. I mean, that dude's got a motor that does not stop.
Yep.
Um, the 2 star, that one I'm actually going to go with somebody from Central Valley and Jose Carrera Garcia.
Okay.
It's was this is this the first match that he was back?
That sounds about right. I haven't
I
seen his
believe
name.
I believe it was either the I believe it was the first, but if it's not, it's maybe the second match that he's been back. But played
I
all
can look
90
it up quickly.
minutes, 88% passing, huge. 1 chance created, 5 passes into the final third, 4 of 4 on tackles, and 7 recoveries.
Yep, that was his first match, first start.
So for the player that this team was sort of built around this season to come in your first match against the top team in the league currently and deliver, I mean, just a 90-minute display of passing, 88% passing at 90 minutes against this team is insane.
Yeah.
Um, so he's definitely gets a spot on this list. And the third one for me, I'm gonna go with Cervania. 79 minutes, 79% passing, 3 chances created, 3 out of 3 on dribbles, 4 passes into the final third, and another stat that I really keep my eye out for is accurate long ball placement. Um, especially as a midfielder, that's huge. 4 recoveries and 80% on his total duels. It was between him and Luis Perez um, for this last one, but I'm going to give the nod just based on the accurate long balls to Cervania.
Yeah, he's having a hell of a season. He's doing some really good things for North Carolina.
Very much so.
So I didn't really pose any sort of a direction toward this in the outline, but the more I think about Central Valley and any switches that they need to make, I hope maybe this is controversial enough to get them talking. I don't think it's controversial at all. It's I think that they may do better if they switch to like a 3-5-2, or I'm sorry, yeah, 3-5, no, 3-5-1, 3-5-2. Ah, gosh, no, it'd be yeah,
352.
uh, yeah. I think they should switch to a 3-5-2. Um, it would create a little bit of an imbalance in the midfield, which would give them more opportunities to generate some offense on the other end.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if they move the players right, they could have a bigger presence on the defensive side. It allows more mobility, to open up for counterattacks. I don't know. That Central Valley's got to switch it up. They got to do something
Mm-hmm.
because whatever they're doing it week in, week out, and nothing's changing. Just do something. Switch it up.
Mm-hmm.
So my suggestion, I know that I'm just some random guy. Switch up the formation.
Yeah, I mean, they got to do something. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I know enough about formations and how they can shift and work. uh, to the advantage of the teams. But it's definitely something. I don't know, man. The frustration is setting in for this team, and it's obvious. Um, so whether or not that's a formation switch or a coaching switch or doing something, I don't know. Central Valley. I mean, I said it. I said it in our last the last podcast when we had Lefty on, and you posed the question about the panic button, and if I was firmly pressing it on the last show, I am smashing that through the table at this point. If I'm a Fuego supporter or anybody in that front office, because this, and I mean that's a whole nother thing that I'm not going to get into, but just from a specific soccer standpoint, uh, this team is headed in the wrong direction very quickly.
Yeah, we're we're past the point of this ship is sinking women and children on the lifeboats. I mean, this is yeah, this is that ship is under the water.
We're past the guys playing violin on the bridge and
Yeah,
just going down with the ship.
yep,
Again, still plenty of time if they can figure it out, but they also haven't shown any semblance that they're going to figure it out.
yep,
Um,
yep,
just what are you gonna do? I mean, something. They got to do something.
yeah. And when I was looking at both of the club social medias for Fuego and for North Carolina, I didn't see any updates. So
Oh,
nothing to report there.
you
Central
didn't see
Valley
anything
has,
for Fuego? That's so shocking.
sad. I know, isn't it? Um,
Can't believe it.
for week 9, Fuego has a bye week, so fans can rest. They don't have to be stressed out this week. North Carolina, on the other hand, they are hosting Ford Madison on Saturday. That's going to be a fun one.
That'll be a good one. That's
Yeah.
definitely gonna be one to watch.
And then going
Mhm.
into league news for the two clubs that had bye weeks this week, Lexington couldn't find anything in their social media.
Mhm.
Northern Colorado posted an update on their stadium. They have the scoreboard up. They have the turf is being laid on in the stadium as we speak, and then they are in the final preparations for their home opener on May 27th for their what did they call that? The Fire and Ice against Central Valley.
Yeah, the
That's the
Fire
one.
and Ice
Okay.
Cup.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that'll be their home opener May 27th. Finally, their home.
Their true
Um,
home.
yeah. And then the other bit of news that affects League One is that the new USL president and chief soccer officer was appointed, Paul McDonough. Um, he has 20 years of experience in a variety of leadership roles. He has plenty of experience from the MLS, whether it was as the chief operating officer and sporting director at Inter Miami during their um, initial, their inaugural season. He was VP of soccer operations at Atlanta when they were preparing for their inaugural season. Um,
Yeah, I think he
he
was
was,
in um, the guy in charge of getting all the talent
yeah,
for that super talented squad. So,
yeah, at both of those clubs too, because he brought in, oh, what's his name over at Inter Miami?
well, I mean, one more so more competitive than the other.
Yeah, definitely true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he even has USL experience because he was a part of the Orlando City organization before they jumped from USL to MLS. And then he has a little bit of coaching experience at the collegiate level. So I don't know a whole lot about him. I saw some wild reactions on both ends of the spectrum for once the announcement was posted on social media. So I'm sort of reserving my judgment till I kind of read some more and learn more about them. I don't want to be completely influenced by what I'm reading in the forums.
Mhm. I mean,
So
I'll kind of speak on it. I Yes, he did have issues and was barred from being involved in MLS for, I think it was, what, 2 years? Um, but at the same time, it was, from everything that I've seen, and there could be more, but the only things I've been able to come up with is playing with numbers and over-signing designated players. So, in the grand scheme of things to get busted on and, like, bad or reasons to not think he's fit for the job, that for me personally, that rate's super low on that list. At every single team on every single league fudges numbers one way or another. It You can't convince me that stuff like that doesn't happen. Um, but like I said, it grand scheme of things, it's not a huge deal that people aren't doing. He just happened to get caught with it, and people can change too. I think this is something that you should be able to give him the benefit of the doubt, that he has turned the quarter and changed and moved on and learned from a mistake that he made, because everybody's allowed to make mistakes. And I think until he gives us a reason to not think he's fit for the job, I think he was hired for a reason. And um, I'm sure he'll do a great job um, in keeping the USL going. And hopefully he continues the trend that Jake Edwards put into place of growing and expanding the league. So,
mhm,
and growing and expanding not just League One and Championship, but the W League, the Super League, everything like that as well.
yep. And let's hope he works hard on the pro rail stuff. Let's hope he works hard on altering the calendar setup and all that kind of stuff that'll be more amenable to the fans.
Mhm.
All right, so now we can head into previewing week 9 of League One action. And for this one, nobody plays twice. We have 4 clubs that are on a bye week. We have Tormenta, we have Union Omaha, Chattanooga, and Central Valley. Those guys all have bye weeks. Every match is Saturday, kicking off at the exact same time, 6 p.m. Central Time.
Mm,
Yeah,
Why? Come on, man.
yeah. So I'll have 4 screens set up at my home for that stuff.
Dude, I'll be lucky to watch a match on my screen upstairs. It's usually like just the phone.
Yeah, I have the big screen. I have 2 laptops, and I can have my phone in front of me too. Although I might get bumped for having too many logins on my ESPN Plus. We'll see how that works.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, that's what I was doing for Open Cup though. I had plenty of screens going at the same time,
There we go.
but that was YouTube. So
Yeah, it has its advantages and its drawbacks for sure.
yeah. As for the matchups, we have Lexington hosting Charlotte, and then we have North Carolina hosting Madison, and One Knox hosting Northern Colorado. And the fan voted um, matchup that you would like us to do a deep dive on is going to be Greenville hosting Richmond. I figured that was going to be the one that everyone was going to vote for.
Yep, that's also the one I kind of oh, I kind of alluded to, that I was thinking was going to be the fan vote
Yeah,
last week. Um, Real quick, I think we can probably talk about these other ones really quickly,
sure.
even if it's just a quick sentence or two. Lexington and Charlotte. Lexington really needs to find their way. They've had good good looks and good runs, inside matches, but can't put an entire match together yet. Charlotte looks to be maybe a little bit wounded right now, so this could be a huge opportunity for Lexington to take that step. I personally don't see it happening, but um, if it did happen, I wouldn't be as shocked as it would have been if this was 2 weeks ago. And as far as NCFC and Madison, this one I think is going to be super close. I think these two teams match up very well together. Their play styles are going to be not complementary in the sense that they play the same, but complementary in what one team does really well, the other team does not do as well, and vice versa. So that one, though, I do see NCFC continuing their run of dominance and beating Forward Madison. Um, Next one up, we've got One Knox taking on Northern Colorado. Super interesting match for me personally. Um, this one, I still see Northern Colorado as potentially a playoff team. So, and One Knox just they look good at times and then they look bad at times. I mean, it's the kind of typical expansion side season. So I have Northern Colorado also winning this one.
Let me scroll up there to catch up with you.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
okay.
I could see Northern Colorado winning that one too. So who did you have in the previous two?
So for Lexington versus Charlotte, I have Charlotte. But it would not be shocked. I would not be shocked if Lexington puts together an entire match and Charlotte is kind of on a emotional hangover from the loss they just suffered, and Lexington kind of shocking them, and maybe that's the spark that Lexington needs to continue to put an entire game together and go up the ladder.
Hmm.
But I do have Charlotte in that one. I do think they're going to come back and beat Lexington.
Yeah. And then what'd you say for North Carolina and Madison?
North Carolina, Madison, I think it's going to be super even, but I don't want to pick a draw. So I do think North Carolina beats Madison.
Yeah, I think it would be easy to pick a draw for North Carolina versus Madison. Um, if we had to pick a winner, yeah, I would go with North Carolina on that one. They're just firing on all cylinders right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those they're going to keep getting picked until they prove that they don't deserve to be picked anymore.
Yeah. All right. So now we can dive into Greenville hosting Richmond. And these two have played 10 times. 3, 5, 7, 10. Yep, they've played 10 times. They have never met in the postseason. I would have thought by now that they would have met in the postseason, but when you break it down, it's understandable why they haven't. There
Mm-hmm.
were only 4 playoff teams in 2019. There were
Two.
2 in 2020.
Yep.
So you really only have a chance in 21 and 22. So I mean, it's 2 years. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
But
can
then,
understand that.
yeah. And last year they finished 1-2. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if they were going to meet, it would have been in the final.
Yeah, the only time that Richmond has finished higher than Greenville is when Greenville gets second place in the standings.
Mhm.
So, yeah, that's how this series has gone for them. It's actually been pretty even.
Mhm.
So, Greenville has 5 wins and Richmond has 4 wins. They only had one draw, and that one draw came last season. It was actually the most recent match between the two as well. Um, and when they play at Greenville, like they will this weekend,
Mhm.
Greenville has 3 wins and Richmond has 2 wins at Greenville. And the last Greenville victory came last year, so it's not like there's any sort of an ongoing record for Richmond winning on the road or anything like that. But
Mhm.
um, and here's another close stat for you. So Greenville has 5 home goals. Richmond has 5 away goals. So I mean, this is a crazy even matchup. Like
Oh yeah,
their series is just so close.
yeah.
But if we're breaking away from looking at the series and the tendencies and the overall goals and all that kind of stuff, if we're looking at this season and what to expect from these two clubs, if you've been watching League One long enough, you know these two clubs well enough. You know what they're going to bring to the table. You know how they're going to play on Saturday. Um, so I don't feel like the three keys that we're going to be
Mhm.
saying for both of these clubs are, I don't know, anything too different from what you would hear from somebody else, if they were to list their three. But for the home side for Greenville, the first key that I have is to stay compact. I know that at times you have seen Greenville pressing their back line very high. Um, I would prefer to see them playing their very compact style that they've always had. They move up and down, historically have moved up and down the field as a very strong unit, very unified. And I think doing that against Richmond will plug more numbers, more personnel into space, allow them to open up passing channels, which kind of leads me into the next point. Keep the ball on the ground and keep it moving. Let Richmond chase because you're going to have players in the midfield, especially up top when you have Terzaghi. He's just sort of going to make his patrol along that back line, trying to um, poach anything that he can, a loose ball or something. So if they stay compact, if they keep the ball moving on the ground, um, really try to find those passing lanes, the triangles that you can see on the field. uh, I think they'll have a lot more success. My third key for Greenville is to cancel out Richmond's stars. They have they have some big names on their team. You think of Nil Vinyals, you think of Emiliano Terzaghi. So if you are able to cancel those players out, you cancel out a lot of their productivity. Now I know that we said earlier in the podcast that this is a club that scores and produces offensively by committee. I'm not going to stray away from that comment. If you can take away Vignoles and Terzaghi, that's a huge. Those are two huge pieces in their offensive production.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
and then if we, yeah, go
I,
ahead. Sorry.
yeah. I was just gonna say Greenville for me. That the things they have to do in this match is they have to get back to the thing that made Greenville Greenville for the past 4 years. You need to play sound defense,
Yeah.
um, and you need to be smart with your passes. They're going to face quite a bit of pressure from Richmond, and that's just Richmond style. So Greenville, when they are on and when they have looked really well or really good, excuse me, when they have looked really good, have been very sound with their passing. They've made the right decisions and they've made them quickly. When Greenville has not played well this season, the passes have been sloppy and their play has been slow. And it looked like, especially like some of the ones that come to mind are like the Lexington match where it looked like they were trying too hard to push forward and to play a different style than they typically do. So I mean, Greenville just, for lack of a better term, beat Greenville. Just
Mhm.
play sound defense and play smart passes. I mean, that's what's gotten you at the, as one of the perennial powerhouses of this league. You don't need to do anything different. That if it's not broke, don't fix it. So I mean, it's for me, it's really simple for Greenville. Just be a John Harkes Greenville team.
Yeah. And I expanded on 3 points, but I think you sum it up perfectly when you say just be yourself, play your game. I think that's the best way to say it. Yeah.
And I mean, you see, Richmond is going to probably do the same thing. Richmond's going to be Richmond. They're going to be aggressive. They're going to try to get the ball into Terzaghi. So I mean, with your third point, perfectly, you cancel out their biggest players, and that's how you beat Richmond. You make sure Terzaghi can't poach balls in the box.
Hmm.
That's the recipe.
And if we are flipping the script and talking about Richmond, the three keys for their success, I think you were just hinting at that. This first point is press high and press often. Um, we know that Greenville likes to play out of the back. We know that they like to be slow and methodical as they move up the field. Like we said, they move up as a unit. If you can press numbers high, if you can expose them while they're condensed, you have a higher chance of getting those interceptions and even getting in for a ground duel or, picking up a loose ball or something like that and changing the course of the play. You can redirect all the action back toward Greenville's net if you are able to apply that pressure, keep them nervous, keep them on their heels. Don't let them, um, which I mean, this kind of ties into one of the my third point here. Don't let Greenville get into rhythm and play out of the back. Don't let them get comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Richmond needs to dictate the pace, the tempo of the match, by just creating havoc, getting in players' faces. Don't let them get comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And just, I mean, the inverse really for Richmond is true. For when you play Greenville, you make Greenville not beat Greenville. Um, I think you hit the nail on the head with that, with press high and often, because that is going to force them to, like I said, for Greenville to play at that style where they were not playing very well. Um, and Greenville, I mean, as if you're Richmond playing Greenville, you know how they have played traditionally. You've played them multiple times. You know how to do it. Um, I don't really have too much more to add. I mean, I think you pretty much nailed it for Richmond. I think the only thing that maybe they could try to do, and I don't know if this is the match necessarily to be trying things with, and when it's this even, but they're going to be um, keying on Terzaghi and Vinyals. You need somebody else on your team to step up and be that guy then. If they're going to take away your only options, then you need to show that you have enough firepower to, if your stars are taken out, what are you going to do? Um,
Yeah,
yeah, that's.
this would be a huge match for Owain Gordon or Justin Suko, Carlton Belmar, for those guys to step into the limelight and really take over in the event that those other guys are getting, heavily pressured and, just becoming a non-issue in the game. Those are guys that are going to have to step up and make things happen.
Mhm. And I mean, you're going to do that by smart passing
Hmm.
and tight, crisp passing, because Greenville is a strong defensive unit, and the only way to beat them is by uh, essentially passing them to death. You have to keep passing the ball, and you have to keep the ball moving. Um, and I mean, just Terzaghi. I mean, he's gotten He's gotten his goal now, so he's going to be in rhythm
Yep.
as we kind of thought he would be as soon as he was starting to get his goals in. So um, just got to do that, and you got to frustrate the hell out of him. I mean, I mean, not statistically. Um, Traditionally, that's how you beat Greenville is you just frustrate the hell out of them with great offense.
Yeah, and if the high press forces Greenville to, play into their tendencies and to use the flanks, good. You By doing that, you limit the amount of options they have, um, combinations for, I mean, for outlets to move up the field. If you are able to overwhelm them with personnel, shifting side to side, front to back. I mean, if you're able to just overwhelm them, let them. If they want to use the flanks, good. Let them
Mm-hmm.
do it. Um, yeah, I just try to corner them.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. So you got a prediction for this match, Rich?
Oh, oh man. I'll say Greenville 1-0.
All right. Um, I'm actually going to go opposite. I'm going to say Richmond 2-1. I think
Oh, okay.
Richmond's. I think Richmond's going to press exactly like how they did against Omaha, and they're going to force Greenville into some bad habits that we've already seen this season with Greenville. And I think Greenville takes a step back because Richmond just frustrates that back line and frustrates the midfield with a lot of high press and getting your boot in front of the ball. While Greenville's trying to play out the back, and it eventually frustrates Greenville to the point where they start making bad passes, and we see the Greenville team that hadn't looked very good this season turn its head back.
It's a good prediction. I mean, this is one that could easily go either way.
Hmm. Yeah, it's. I would not be surprised either way to see this happen. Um, and I mean, it potentially here, Richmond could make a pretty good jump up the standings if they ended up winning this.
And I mean,
So
Richmond
could
is
Greenville.
undefeated in their last three.
Hmm.
They're undefeated on the road. They beat Greenville earlier this season in Greenville.
Hmm. Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, there's certainly reasons to line yourself with your thinking.
and I mean, yeah, it'll be a great match either way. I'm really looking forward um, to watching this one, and I'm not at all surprised that this ended up being the one that the fans wanted a nice deep dive into.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I was actually hoping that we would talk about this one. So yeah, that it got my vote.
Yeah, I was very excited to talk about this one tonight, and kind of figured that this is going to be the one that the fans wanted.
And since it's a Greenville home match, we know that Ross is going to be the one that's calling it. And so hopefully we did a little bit of his homework for him and made his job a little easier.
Yeah, we want credit on air though, Ross. Oh, that's all right. Just use the three keys that Rich put up, and we'll know. You know, if
Yeah.
you just take that information and put it in your guys' own graphic, then we'll know that's your little nod to us without using the name.
Yep. And I don't think we got any other questions or anything. Yeah, we don't have any other questions in the chat. We didn't get anything on Twitter, so
Nope.
good to go. You got anything else?
Um, No, I don't. I don't think so. It's off week for Union Omaha, so um, gonna try to take care of some stuff around the house this weekend, I guess.
Cool. Nice. I don't know what I'm. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing this weekend. It's sort of like, well, if there's, so used to having Union Omaha matches. So when
Right.
there's not one, what do I do?
I'm free on Saturday until 6 o'clock, so
Yeah.
then we got a match to watch. But
Well, thanks everybody for tuning in to another episode of League One on the Rocks. Hopefully, learned a thing or two or found a good reason to get mad at us and spark some debates on social media. So we'll gladly take whatever we can get.
yeah,
We are going to be having some more content coming out here. I'm going to be working on something here tonight. Hopefully, get that out tomorrow morning. And this podcast will be out soon. And we'll have those normal polls on Saturday morning as well. So, yeah, we got plenty more content coming at you as the week draws to a close. So, keep an eye
yep,
out for all that stuff. Let us know if you want us to do any deep dives on anything. Look up some stats for you or whatever it is, whatever topics you want us to discuss. Just send us a message on social media. So yeah,
hmm definitely.
and I guess we can discuss whether we're going to do a Friday and Sunday show later. But yeah,
Yeah,
always keep an eye out for those shows too, because we have a lot of fun with those. We always try to. We've had a recent spell of success bringing on other independent, you know, uh, guests on here to show their support for their club and for their podcast or for their website or for whatever their sort of coverage they're providing for League One and stuff. So it's been really fun to chat with those people and to get their insight into their club and whatever they're working on. So keep an eye out for all those. Hopefully we can grab some more people to come onto the show and highlight their work as well. Those are really fun.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Outside of that, that's another episode. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you at our next episode.
All right, thanks, guys.